everybody, welcome to my channel. In this tutorial, I'll be going to show you how to make a number guessing game in Python. I hope you know what Python is. Nope, not snakes, it's the programming language. You can either download Python on your computer or access it from different websites. For instance, on programmies.com. You can visit other websites too. Link is in the description below. So let's get started. Firstly, we need to create a new file in Python. I have already created a new file here, and now let's start to write the program. Let's make a simple program to generate a random number between 1 and 10, and it will ask the user to guess it. So to do this, let's first write import random. Importing refers to allowing a Python file or a Python module to access the script from another Python file or module. This is because you must define everything you want to use in Python before you use them. In simple terms, this function will let us to pick and use a random number in the project because we are importing random. Next, we make the computer choose a random number between 1 and 10. To do this, we can write number is equal to random.randint open brackets 1 comma space 10 then close brackets. To explain it, let's break it down. The number is a variable. A variable is a storage in program that can store a string or a numerical value. Variables can be altered during the program is running. We can name a variable whatever we want, but it needs to be short and precise. Because if you are making longer programs and if you name a variable something like game is equal to 2, then you want to use it later in the program, you don't know what its function is and what the value it contains. But if you name it something like num1 or number, then you know what it contains, which is a numerical value. We generate a random number by using the random.randint function. The random is an inbuilt function of the random module in Python. The random module gives access to various useful functions, and one of them being able to generate random numbers, which is randint. We use int to tell the computer that it is an integer, a number, and then add a start and end in the brackets. The randint method returns an integer number selected element from the specified range. Here we have 1 to 10 range, which we want the computer to generate a random number between and store it in the number variable. Now let's tell the user what is the range of the computer generating a number between. To do this, we can write print open brackets then speech marks. I am thinking a number between 1 and 10. I made it a little fancier by adding I am because it is the computer that's thinking a random number between 1 and 10. You can also write something like the computer is thinking or whatever you like. The print function prints the specified message to the screen or other standard output device. The message can be a string or any object. The object will be converted into a string before written to the screen called the shell, but we have already defined it as a string by using speech marks. Now let's add a decision, an if-else statement. Let's first complete the program for the if-else statement, then I'll explain what we have done here. Type if number is less than or equals to 5, colon, enter, print, open brackets, I am thinking of a low number, then close speech marks and brackets, then else, colon, print, open brackets and speech marks again, I am thinking of a high number. So what we have done here is that we have just justified a if-else statement here. if number is less than or equals to 5. It checks that if the variable number contains the values 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. If we did not use the equals to sign after less than, then we would end up with only the values 1, 2, 3 and 4. You might notice here that there is some space between the margin on the screen and the text that it's starting from. This is called indentation, or we say it is indented. But if it wasn't indented, it might show error or doesn't know what if the condition which we have just justified as number is less than or equal to 5 is true. If it was not indented, which should not happen, but if it does, then we can just press tab at the start and then it would be indented, as you can see here. You see that we haven't added a condition after the else, because everything else, the values in the number variable, meaning the values 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 goes in the else part, skipping whatever is in the if part of the statement because it is false. This will execute that the computer is generating a high number as it's above the half of the range. Now let's add another variable input. Guess is equal to int, open brackets, input, open bracket again, then speech marks, guess the number, a colon, and then close everything. Here we have defined another variable called guess. Its value is an input which will be assigned by the user that will enter the value. The input method function lets the user to add an input and then we can add guess the number, as this is the output which is the only part of the sequence of this line that the user sees in the shell. The int, as I've said earlier, make sure that this number is an integer, not any text value, because if you do not add the int, then this means that it recognizes the input by the user as a text value, which is also fine for this script of the program as we are generating a random number. But if we wanted to multiply or add this value by something, then we definitely needed to define it as an integer, as text values cannot be multiplied, divided, added or subtracted. Then we type the program to know if the user's guess matches the computer's random number it thought of earlier and stored it in the number variable. And now, guess what? We are writing another if statement. Let's write if guess is equal to number, then colon, print, open brackets and speech marks, correct, else, print, bad luck. You might have noticed that why we have used two equal signs, and if you did, then well done. It is because one equal sign is always and always used to assign a value to a variable, whereas two consecutive signs is used to check whether two expressions give the same value. Then if the guess variable has the same numerical value as the number variable, which is where the computer stored the random number, it prints correct. And if it doesn't, then it will print bad luck, as it goes in the else, as if is false. So if we run this program, we can see it outputs I'm thinking a number between 1 and 10. I'm thinking of a high number, as it generated a random number which is higher above 5, which means it is above the half of the range, meaning 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. But if it was less, then it would print a low number. Now it asks us to guess the number. So if we input something like 8, it prints bad luck, which means it does not match the number the computer thought of. And if it was correct, then it must print correct. This time it says I'm thinking of a low number, which means it is less than 5. And if we now input something like 3. It prints bad luck again. So here it is. We just made a program in Python to guess a random number generated by the computer and ask the user to guess it. I hope you enjoyed working together to make a program like this. If you learned something new today or like this program, then please give it a big thumbs up. And if you are a beginner or are just new to Python, then make sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. And be the first one to watch my amazing different programs and also learn them. In the future videos, I may add up something in this simple number guessing game to make it a bit more interesting and fun. But anyways, thanks for watching. See ya!